Hi guys, this is Lashette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I'm back with my first recent reading wrap-up of 2022. This is my mid-January reading wrap-up video. Ready to go. It is still winter, so please excuse any noises from my radiator, which is just not too far outside of camera range. My super has been fired, and my landlord has been here every day for the last 2 weeks, and so we get heat more often now in the middle of the day. It's strange, but I'm not going to complain about being warm at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for once. Anyway, I've got my new reading journal here, and there will be a video at some point in February showing the making of this or the decorating of it, whatever. I've read a lot. This is probably, well, I'm going to say for a long time, even before, obviously, I filmed booktube videos. I've only done those roughly 2 years. And definitely the highest amount of books I've read in January so far. But even before booktube. So let's jump right in. These first 3 books are holiday books. And you might be thinking, the fuck? The holidays are over, yes. But I was one of those fortunate or unfortunate souls who got COVID in the last week of December. So yes, I could have read, and I did a little, but I didn't really have the concentration for any of these books. So since I had to postpone our family gift exchange because all the gifts were in my house, I figured I'll postpone the holiday reading books, and I basically had a whole Christmas Yule time thing in the beginning of January. And the first book for that was In the Holidaze by Christina Lauren. They are 2 authors, not one. A couple of years ago, it might have been last year only, but it might have been 2020. I decided I wanted to try several Christina Lauren books because I've heard of many of them, and I came across a Christina Lauren read-along, but then, yeah, in 2020 I came across the read-along, but 2020 is the lost year, so I didn't really get to them. I will say that I've been slowly, randomly picking them up as I remembered I wanted to read more. This is only my 3rd, so we're not going too crazy here. But this was, I've heard, a very nice holiday book, and it was. I want to giving this 3 stars. This is a library book. Obviously, I read the physical version. This is a contemporary romance. It's cute. It's mostly light, except for when it's not, and then it's really oddly not. I didn't love this. I didn't hate it. It was that 3 stars. I liked it, and it was good for a holiday book. We're following Mei Lin, whose family does this holiday trip out to Utah in a cabin every year. It's a whole gathering, a tradition that they've been doing for her entire life. And it's her parents and their college friends and their families. So they all come together in this place. And unfortunately, this holiday season, things don't go quite right. Maylin has been crushing on one of her parents' friends' sons for half her life, literally, and she winds up in a situation with the other son. To top off the trip, at the end, the owners of the house actually say, look, we can't afford to keep it anymore. We're selling it. So Maylin and her family drives off. Everyone's sad, and they get into a pretty horrific car accident. But that's not the end. A big theme of this book is the Groundhog Day timeline. Every time she really gets hurt physically, Maylin, bounces back in time to the beginning of the trip. The first time, obviously, was during the car accident, but it's not the only time. I saw a review where someone was like, she didn't go back in time often enough, they kept expecting it, and I think she did, in my opinion. What was weird, and that I mentioned already, the parts that weren't cute and light and sweet were very traumatizing. To relive the whole vacation, she gets into these horrific accidents, and it's not gory, but it's just like, oh shit. Like, they each come up unexpectedly, and it's really damaging. So there's that, which I wasn't expecting every single time. Otherwise, I'm not sure what the point of this was. Like, this whole sending her back. I did like Maylin. I love the family dynamics. I liked her and the guy she winds up with. Just all the characters were really cool as characters, and the setting was really nice. I like their whole family traditions and whatnot. But I also like that Maylin learned, that family traditions are not absolutely necessary. Like, we don't have to stick to doing the same exact things every year, which is nice. But like I said, the light fantasy aspect of this whole reliving the same vacation over and over again, I didn't see the point of it. In the back, Christina and Lauren talk about like how they wanted to do romance with just a sprinkle of fantasy, and they did that, but it seemed kind of pointless. We don't really understand, and neither does Maylin, which I think is great. Her kind of arguing with the universe thing, like why is this happening to her? What is she supposed to change to make it better? She does try changing a lot, but it's weird. Again, cute romance. I like the family dynamics, which I feel like, just from the 3 books I've read from Christina and Lauren, is probably my favorite aspect of their books. They do them very well. Not bad, not amazing. Next book I've read, not quite a holiday book, but Victorian Rebels book number 1, The Highwayman by Kerrigan, Byrne. I read this for the Swoon Sisters Book Club pick for December. We already had the live show. Link down in the description if you're interested. This is a historical romance. I don't remember what prompt this was for. We all talked about it, and we all gave it 3 stars, so there's that. There's Dorian, what is he called? The Black Heart of Belmore, this Scottish man who is somehow a criminal, but also has connections with the most titled people in London right now. And he is basically a wealthy criminal. On the other hand, we got Feralsong, who is a secretary at the local police station. I can't pronounce the word. I've tried for many years of what the police were called back then in England, the beginning of Scotland Yard, what they called the actual policemen back then. It starts with a C. I'm not going to embarrass myself because I have, and I've edited it out. Anyway, and she works for the chief of police and is well loved and well liked, very independent. She's a widow, so she gets to do a lot of things that most women don't at that time because she gets to be independent. However, she has a really big secret, a huge secret that no one knows until one day Donald kidnaps her. Turns out he's been looking for her, and he kidnaps her against her will, takes her to his Scottish island and castle where there's all these other criminals living there. Nobody will let her out, even though they're very nice to her. But he proposes that they get married because he knows what her secret is, and he says he can help her stay safe as well as get what she deserves, and she can marry him. That way he will now be a titled man and he can get what he wants out of that. So they embark on this marriage of convenience type thing. It's kind of enemies to lovers, but I feel like this one was darker than I was expecting. This is one of the darkest historical romances I've read, and I kind of like mine's a little dark. I like my historical romance heroes, male protagonists, because they're not heroes, to have some life experience beyond running an estate. I like when they've been to war or have had a traumatic upbringing or just other things like that. Same for the females, but a little bit different because the historical aspect, they don't have as much freedom to get into many of the things the guys do. I feel like we got a taste of things, a taste of Donald's being a criminal, a taste of his trauma, it didn't deliver. Like, we were told a lot and not shown a lot. I feel personally, I know some people in the live show disagreed, and that's fine. I would have liked more substance from his background. And Farley is an idiot because of the prologue in this. The big reveal is kind of obvious throughout the whole thing, which I guess. And finding out what her big secret is like, okay. But again, we get kind of a taste, but not fully. Like, we're told, but not shown. And then at the end, this last second breakup, or they can't get divorced, but like separation was just annoying. I do want to read the next book because the next guy is an assassin, and the synopsis, the sneak peek in the back of this for The Hunter sounded interesting. They are not, neither of them are titled, but that's what I thought for this one, so we'll see. This title is very misleading. Ain't no Highwayman-ness going on. Yeah, I gave that 3 stars. I don't know. It was okay. That's what 3 stars means. Alright. Next, the holiday book. Why did I say that was a holiday book? Oh, it's not a holiday book. The next one is, and that is Holly Jolly Diwali by Sonya, Lalli. And say that 3 times fast. I picked this because I was watching, I'll put it down in the description below. I'm so sorry. So I was watching a booktuber talk about this book while she was decorating her Christmas tree. And the idea of a holiday romance, but it not being about Christmas, was very interesting to me. So I picked it up and very happy that it came in at the time that it did so I could read it for my holiday week. And this, we're following Nikki, who is a 29-year-old Punjabi American or Indian American. Her parents were born and raised in India, but they came to America either when she and her sister were very young or before they were born, and they raised them here. They in California, and so while the girls know some things about their Indian, particularly Punjabi background and culture and history, they are not as connected as maybe they feel they should be, or Nikki feels she should be. So anyway, the story is Nikki's 29, so this is an adult. I'm not gonna it's filed in romance, but is it really? After a third of this, I was definitely, I'm not sure this is romance. So you could say women's literature, I guess, or just literature in general. We're following Nikki as she's been the good daughter. She's the younger sister. Her older sister is the artist. She goes out. She does what she wants. And she often makes her parents worried as they were growing up. Nikki, seeing this, she doesn't really think of herself. She just thinks of what's the best job that she can get so that she makes good money and saves up and to have a good life for her parents and to get married one day to a guy. But she's in her job. She recently got promoted, and then she's getting fired. And now all of the things that she sacrificed for this job is coming back to haunt her. Meanwhile, her parents are like, hey, you never do anything fun. You should go on a date. Do you want us to set you up? And she, being the good daughter, though she doesn't really want to, says yes. She meets this guy, Rod, the same day. She gets fired, and she gets drunk, and Rod seems like a decent guy, and he's just like, you should live a little. And so Nikki decides she's going to go to her college best friend's wedding in India. She has never been to India, and the wedding is happening right after Diwali. So Indian weddings are multi-day events, if you are unaware. And Diwali is a major holiday in India. I believe it's more of a Hindi holiday than any other, but many Indians who are not Hindu follow and celebrate Diwali. While she's there, she meets Samir, who is another friend of her college friend, Dia, and they hit it off. There's some chemistry, but he's a musician, and he lives in London, so Nikki's like, I'm not sure. So the story goes from there. The reason I say I don't think this is really romance, because it doesn't always focus on the romance, which, that happens. I don't want that to be the only thing in a romance book, usually, unless they're really delving deep into the motivations of the people and that kind of thing. With this, it's just, there were other issues. Basically, they're trying to figure out their lives. Nikki doesn't know what to do with herself. She's confronting, like I said, these issues with her, basically building her life off of not being like her sister and giving her parents a break. But that's not really what she wants to do. A lot of her decisions, even in India, are not based on what she wants, but what she thinks is right to do. And that's not always what's best for her. There's also these very realistic, but kind of odd for a book, instances of sexism, colorism, I guess racism in here that Nikki goes through all on her own. She doesn't bring these issues up with Sonya, or her friends or anyone else, really, except for one occasion. Classism as well comes up. These situations don't go anywhere. These are things that happen, unfortunately, to many people in this world, and many women. It's normal, but it shouldn't be. And this is stuff that I wouldn't expect in a romance book, if that makes sense. Like, normal everyday things are normally cut out, so it's not boring or whatever. Not that these were boring, but it was just like, huh. And the first of those is where I really was like, I don't think this is a romance book, but the romance is good. I like the chemistry between Nikki and Sam from the beginning. To just have so much pining was nice, but also there was also so much second guessing. And this is love at first sight. I really enjoyed this. I'm going to say 3.5 stars. I'm going to bump it up because I like this better than the other. This was not quite what I thought it was going to be. Still good though. The next 2 books I finished in the month of January. The first half of the month were the Green Creek series. I am reading what I want to read when I want to read it. I'm not putting off these series that I'm really enjoying. I picked up book number 3 from the Green Creek series, Heartsong by TJ Klune. This is a male adult paranormal romance urban fantasy. I still haven't figured it out yet, so whichever you guys decide. Series. And this book is about Robbie and Kelly. And I read the ebook from my library because it was available, and I said I want to read what I want to read. And I love this. I gave this 5 stars, and I feel like that's how the whole series is going to go because I'm almost done. What can I say without spoiling? Let's just start with a synopsis of book 1. Basically, we're following Ox, who is living in this small town in northwestern United States. And he's considered, at least by his father, as a slow child who's going to get a lot of shit in his life. And one of those things is dad just walking out and leaving him and the mother. So, there's that. After a very short while, Ox decides he needs to help his mom pay the bills, otherwise they're going to lose their house. So he goes and starts working at the local mechanic shop. Meanwhile, down the road, from their house is this other house that is very big and has not been inhabited as far as Ox is aware in his lifetime. And that family suddenly comes back. Their youngest son randomly comes across Ox one day and just clicks. It clicks. And Ox becomes another part of the Bennett family over time. The first half of the first book, Wolfsong, is basically like this coming of age, and we're following Ox as he's growing up, getting to know himself, coming into his own and all of that stuff. And there's romance between him and Joe, which is not the main focus for most of that first half because Joe is even younger than Ox is. But yes, then the second half comes in like a wrecking ball and fucks your whole shit up, right? So the romance, the coming of age, it was great. It was lovely. We enjoyed it. But then Ox starts finding out who this family is and what is going on, but not right away. There is so much heartache, so much angst, so much death in this, so much depth. And it's also funny, Team Human all the way. Now in the books after that, and even the novellas in between, we're looking at other family members, mostly Joe's brothers. now we're following Kelly, the middle brother, and Robbie, his mate. And this is from Robbie's point of view. This book is not what you think it is. This is some good writing. I give, like, none of the previous books were good writing too, but the way the first, at least third, if not half, reads, you think one thing is going on, but then you get to a point and it's revealed and it's everything is flipped on its head. It's like, nope, that's not what's going on. And once you realize, you look back at all you've read already and it's just like, oh, that's fucked up. So, that being said, the blurb on the back, it's like, this is an established relationship between Kelly and Robbie, and, you know, like I said, it's Robbie's point of view. Robbie worked for Michelle, and after his mother died, and he was her second, and he goes around the country basically making sure that other packs are following his law, but her law, I should say, Michelle's laws. And one day he goes and visits one pack, and that throws off his whole thing. What he believed is not what is real about their society and the Bennetts. But what you believe as the reader is not what you think either. This is all from Robbie's point of view, and I think it would not have, it definitely wouldn't have worked if it wasn't from his point of view. I'm not going to say anything else, but we'll say there is a sexual rep in this, as Kelly is asexual, and also they have a male-male relationship. So, 5 freaking stars. I loved it. The ending, as always, is heartbreaking, but heartwarming at the same time. The overarching plot for the series is still going, and you're still like, particularly about the bad guy. How did he do that? That's what it feels like at the end of every book. And that's because that's what they're all thinking. So, it is what it is. I tried to start another book after this, and I did, but I didn't finish it, and I needed a little bit of a break. And I remembered the next book is a novella available for free on TJ Klune's website, so I picked up Feralsong, the next book in the Green Creek series, 3.5, same. It's an ebook that I read, and a short story / novella. This is different from 2.5 as we get multiple perspectives. It seems like in these novellas, we're getting other characters' perspectives of things that happened in the previous books. So, in this one, we get Kelly's perspective, we get Carter's perspective, and we get Joe's perspective of basically, in general, what happened in Heartsong. And I really liked it. I liked it more than I liked 2.5 Love Song. So, yeah, that's that. And that's the last book I'm going to talk about here. And in the next video, you'll see my thoughts on the books I finished in the latter half of January. I don't even know how I'm gonna survive February. But, like this video. If you liked it, let me know what was your favorite read of the month of January. How many books did you read? How's it going? Midway-wise. Even though this is gonna come out later than my usual mid-month videos. So let me know if you like this and you want to support but don't know what to comment. How about you leave me a little Santa emoji for my holiday reads, my delayed holiday, And subscribe if you are new. Yes, there will be bi-monthly videos, if nothing else. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Happy New Year.